Now on CoastTV News.
Milton Business Money. We look at the new grant for upgrades and who is paying for it in the Sussex County town.
It's back to reality today, Delmarva. Despite sunny skies, it's going to feel like the 20s most of the day. Gets even colder into Friday morning and tracking some potential snow over the weekend.
Plus, session starts. Now that Maryland's General Assembly has reconvened, what are its early priorities for the new year?
Ocean City celebrates how the town is kicking off the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. holiday weekend.
This is CoastTV News Today.
And welcome to our 6 o'clock hour. Good morning, I'm Matt Pensick.
Good morning, Matt. I'm Grace Eckerly. Today is Thursday, January 15th, 2026.
Yeah, we have established, if you've been watching us for a couple weeks, couple months now, Grace's favorite day of the week is Thursday.
I love a Thursday. There's something that's so much fun about it. There's a lot of optimism and hope and enterprise into the weekend that's ahead. You're kind of setting your plans. You're watching the forecast with Chris to know what the weather's going to be like.
What you need to wear.
What you need to wear. If you need your little Penn State beanie like Matt Pensick does, because it's too cold for him.
Wow. What a tone we got. Chris, I know it's going to be cold, and I do have my Penn State hat, but I think I can rough it out if I somehow forgot that hat.
You will definitely need it, certainly by later on this morning. Good morning, Matt and Grace. Good morning, Delmarva. We have a cold front that's pushing through the area. Remember yesterday we talked about that brief opportunity for a shower, maybe even a snow shower. Too warm enough to be snow, but the cold air is still lagging back to the west. But we see a few light showers and sprinkles beginning to work into Coastal Highway, just past through Georgetown. Very light, and this is all ahead of the cold front that is just making its way across the peninsula at this hour. And very cold air lurks back to the west, and that's making a beeline towards the east coast. We're at 41 in Georgetown, 28 Winchester, 16 in Wheeling, and that cold air is pushing towards the east. Right now in Cambridge, we're at 40 degrees. So stepping out the door this morning, not too bad. But that's going to be changing here over the next few hours. We're at 41 in Milford, 43 in Millsboro, 44 in Ocean Pines. Winds gusting about 16 miles an hour there, Indian River Inlet, 28 in Georgetown. So the winds are going to continue to pick up here over the course of the morning and into the afternoon. So despite the sunny skies we're going to see through the day today, it's not going to really warm us up all that much. We're seeing the mildest temperatures of the day right now. We've already hit our high just after midnight, and the temperatures are going to actually stay rather steady late this morning through the early part of the afternoon in the mid-30s. With that added wind gust, it's going to feel like 25 by your lunchtime, 21 by 6 o'clock, and then it gets even lower overnight into Friday. We'll talk about how low those wind chills are going to fall, and we'll talk about a little light snow opportunity into the weekend. That's coming up a little later on the newscast.
Our breaking news this hour, it is the successful return of the Crew 11 astronauts from the International Space Station. This is video of the splashdown that occurred off the coast of San Diego less than 3 hours ago. That was around 3:41 Eastern Time.
The Crew 11's mission Crew Dragon capsule, named Endeavour, undocked from the International Space Station on Wednesday night.
Their mission was cut short, about a month short, and that was due to an undisclosed health issue.
The crew's departure was the first time in the station's 25-year history that a mission was cut short because of a medical problem that arose in orbit. After the successful splashdown, dolphins were seen swimming near the capsule.
New this morning, small businesses in downtown Milton could soon get a financial boost.
CoastTV News reporter Elisa Weber is in our newsroom, and Elisa, a development is actually funding the grant in a partnership with Milton Main Street.
Good morning, Matt and Grace. Yes, grants up to $2,000 are available to small businesses in Milton. According to Milton Main Street, these grants are being funded by the Granary at Draper Farms Development. This is a mixed-use development that is currently under construction in Milton. The grant will fund equipment, furnishings, storefront improvements, and marketing plans. Eligible businesses include those located within the town limits on Route 16, as well as on Mulberry, Union, Federal, Chestnut, and Lavinia streets. Franchises may apply, but they must operate no more than 2 locations. And there's up to $10,000 in grants available, and the deadline to apply is February 15th. Back to you.
Thank you, Elisa. Lawmakers in Maryland went back to work on Wednesday for the start of the 2026 legislative session. According to some state senators and delegates from the Eastern Shore, one main focus is lowering the state's budget deficit. That deficit It's around $1.5 billion. Another priority is lowering energy costs. Maryland's legislative session wraps up on April 13th.
Wednesday was also the start of the legislative session in Virginia. It comes days before Abigail Spanberger is sworn in as the next governor. State leaders are considering 4 constitutional amendments that focus on abortion rights, same-sex marriage, voting rights, and mid-cycle redistricting. According to Governor-elect Spanberger, one goal is to improve affordability. Spanberger takes office on Saturday.
Delaware State Parks marking their 75th anniversary with a day of service on Martin Luther King Jr. Day. That's January 19th on Monday. Participating parks across the state include cleanup and reforestation projects at Trap Pond State Park. State Parks officials say the effort honors Dr. King's call for service while supporting the long-term health of Delaware's public lands. And for more information on other volunteer opportunities that exist at more state parks across Delaware on Monday, you can head to the article on our website, CoastTV.com.
Happening today, the MLK Weekend Dream Fest kicks off in Ocean City. The event brings families together for 3 days of music, arts, and entertainment to honor Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s legacy. The first day starts with a performance from the Pointer Sisters at the Ocean City Performing Arts Center at 7 p.m. Dream Fest 2026 runs through January 17th in Ocean City.
Delmarva Power launching a customer relief fund expansion after receiving $500,000 from its parent company Exelon. Company officials say the funding supports customers in Delaware and Maryland. Customers with electric and gas are eligible for $500, and this comes after Delmarva Power says it's looking at raising its electric rate base in Delaware.
Delmarva Power also replacing telephone poles in Laurel. According to the town, this is along Cooper Street from Front Street to Route 24 and along Route 24 beginning Tuesday, January 20th. The town says the project is expected to last several weeks and will include lane closures on Cooper Street. The town says temporary power outages are to be expected.
And we're now taking a live look at Washington, D.C. on this Thursday morning. Not for sale. That's the message from Danish and Greenland officials to President Trump about the Arctic territory. They met with administration officials Wednesday at the White House and said they have a different opinion from the president about who should control Greenland.
But they say they are open to expanding the U.S. military footprint. NBC's Alice Barr showing us the debate between world leaders.
This morning, diplomatic divisions over the fate of Greenland, the Danish territory that President Trump insists the U.S. must control.
We need Greenland for national security.
The president has made his view clear, and we have a different position.
Foreign ministers from Denmark and Greenland meeting at the White House with Vice President J.D. Vance and Secretary of State Marco Rubio, who says President Trump would prefer to buy the massive island territory, a proposition that could cost as much as $700 billion, according to 3 people familiar with the estimate. Denmark, a NATO ally, insists its territory is not for sale. President Trump has not ruled out military force, citing what he views as a threat from other major powers.
The problem is there's not a thing that Denmark can do about it if Russia or China wants to occupy Greenland, but there's everything we can do.
It is not a true narrative that we have, Chinese warships all around the place.
On Capitol Hill, lawmakers in both parties speaking out against military action in Greenland, calling it
the most serious national geopolitical mistake this country could make,
while endorsing the power of alliances and the U.S. military presence already in place in Greenland to secure the Arctic.
The not smart, unachievable way is whoever told the president that this was a viable path. It doesn't make sense.
Among Greenland's population of roughly 57,000, mounting anxiety as leaders promise to keep talking. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Starting today, DelDOT will begin a painting project on the Front Street Bridge in Seaford. You can see that area on your screen right now. The agency says work continues through early April, and during this time, Front Street will be closed to drivers. However, pedestrian access across the bridge will remain open, and the bridge openings for boats will only happen overnight. That'll be between 9 p.m. and 5 a.m.
Starting Monday, January 19th, a traffic detour will go into place for drivers heading to the Cape May Ferry Terminal. Ferry says drivers will have to use Beach Drive to enter the terminal parking lot and that they are posting detour signs to direct drivers.
And we're just getting started here on this hour of CoastTV News Today.
Yeah, coming up, prayer pause. What is sparking change in Wicomico County meetings?
Plus, parking lot pay debate. Why leaders in Berlin are suggesting paid parking and the pushback surrounding the idea.
But first, Chips for Charity. How students at Sussex Academy came together to support a local family during a time of grief. That's next on this week's Coastal Connections. CoastTV News Today continues after the break.
The Sussex Academy community came together to support the family of an alum who passed away due to cancer in September 2025. As reporter Elisa Weber shows us, for students, for parents, helping to cover the funeral costs was their way of giving back.
Sussex Academy students coming together to support the family of one of their own. Members of two of the school's clubs held a Chips for Charity fundraiser to help cover funeral expenses for the family of 2024 graduate Tanya Garcia Roblero, who tragically passed away in late 2025 from cancer. For Tanya's cousin, it was touching to see students coming together to honor Tanya and support her family.
I'm really happy this is happening so we can still live up her name and keep her name alive, because she loved this school.
During lunchtime, students sold various types of chips and dips. Through their efforts, they were able to raise $2,000 for Tanya's family. For Amy Goodhue, a parent of Sussex Academy students, jumping in to help Tanya's family felt like the right thing to do.
It's every parent's nightmare to go through something like that, and I just wanted to, when something like that happens, I feel like every family needs to just jump in and see how we can help and bond together.
And for Tanya's friends who have so many memories with her here at school, they knew she was looking down with so much joy.
She was the most beautiful soul. She was my best friend, and seeing this happen, it makes me emotional because I wish she was here to see this.
Even in loss, unity and compassion can create something truly unforgettable. For Coastal Connections, I'm Elisa Weber.
Time is 6:16, and we are giving you a live look at the morning scene in Salisbury. First Alert meteorologist Chris Mastrobono is with us again. And Chris, we got a sunny day cooking. Unfortunately, I guess weather appropriate, for the time of year. It's not going to be a warm day.
Yeah, unfortunately not. I'm saying so long to those 50-degree temperatures we had the last few days. We have a few light sprinkles pushing over the coast at this hour. That's all ahead of a cold front that's basically pushing over the peninsula as we speak, and that's bringing in much colder air through the day today, and you're going to certainly feel it. Take a look at some of these temperatures back off to the west, well in the teens throughout much of the Great Lakes and Midwest, and we're going to tap into some of that cold air over the next few days. We're at 42 in Laurel, so temperatures are quite mild this morning. We're in the 40s, 44 Rehoboth, 43 Milton, 44 in Ocean Pines. Winds are beginning to pick up in the last few minutes. We're gusting to 23 in Georgetown, 29 in Salisbury, 21 in Millsboro. So we have those gale warnings up. Those run through Friday morning, about 10 o'clock through the Bay and then along the Atlantic coast. Now, we're back to reality. Cold, blustery conditions, even though we're going to have plenty of sunshine over the next few days. Wind chills dipping as low as the single digits come Friday morning, and then we are tracking the possibility of some light snow over the weekend. Temperatures falling into the 30s through the morning, holding steady through the afternoon. Look at the wind chill by 7 o'clock this evening, falling to 19 under those clear skies through the afternoon and into the evening. Starry skies overnight, dipping into the upper teens to lower 20s. We stay mostly sunny and dry into Friday as well. Those winds are going to pick up through the morning and afternoon, gusting to 30, 35 miles an hour, staying quite breezy overnight, and that's going to create those bitter wind chills, feeling like 17 in Dewey Beach through this evening, and then by tomorrow morning, feeling like 10, Dewey, 12 in Ocean City, 10 in Georgetown, and then as we go into the weekend, we are looking at dry conditions to start, then a chance of a late shower in the late morning, early afternoon time frame as a weak trough pushes through the area, and then we dry out in through Saturday night. Then as we go into late Sunday afternoon through Sunday evening, watching an area of low pressure off to our south, bringing in some light snow. The northern periphery of the system beginning to push into the area. Now, the best chance to see any snow will be to the southern portion of the peninsula, but we could pick up a little light round of snow there into Sunday evening. Then behind it, we turn even colder into the early part of next week, and we stay on the dry side. We're at 36 this afternoon under mostly sunny skies, feeling like the 20s for most of the afternoon. We dropped to 21 overnight, very cold, feeling more like 8 to 17. And then by tomorrow, 37, a mostly sunny, dry day, but a cold one at that with those bitter wind chills to start. We go into the weekend, seasonable temperatures 46, but we see that late shower chance in the morning and then watching that late snow chance into Sunday evening. And then we're just cold and dry into early next week, high at 27 into next Tuesday. Grace.
Thank you, Chris. And as you just mentioned, it is going to be very cold these next few days. Something to know, the Delaware Department of Health and Social Services will open warming centers. Those centers will be open today and tomorrow from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Stations will be open in Sussex County at the Shipley State Service Center, Adams State Service Center, and Laurel State Service Center. Now in Kent County at the Williams State Service Center and Smyrna State Service Center. In Newcastle County at the Canby Park office, Claymont State Service Center, and Churchman's Corporate Center.
Turning our attention now to Berlin, officials there are weighing the prospect of paid parking downtown as they look for ways to fund repairs to aging lots. Councilman Steve Green says the town is facing over $1 million in infrastructure repairs, and Green says about 40 business owners voiced opposition at a parking subcommittee meeting this week. Several merchants we spoke to say they are against paid parking. They do understand changes may eventually happen.
Eventually, we do need to have some sort of a change, and there were a lot of good ideas about ways that we could perhaps reroute traffic, letting maybe some additional places be added for parking.
And according to the council, they had a survey. The results of that show that 75% of businesses are opposed to the idea of paying $500 annually in exchange of getting free parking.
And more to come, prayer pause, what some leaders in Wicomico County are suggesting to replace the former practice. We'll be right back. A long-standing tradition of opening meetings with prayer in Wicomico County is coming to an end. The Lord's Prayer has accompanied the Pledge of Allegiance for years, but a council member reading a Bible verse during legislative meetings in September attracted the attention of the Freedom from Religion Foundation after multiple threats of legal action from the organization. Council President John Cannon says he made the difficult decision to discontinue the prayer tradition.
It chose not to do the Lord's Prayer just so that we could avoid any threats of litigation from the Freedom from Religion Foundation. And at that point in time, it caused an uproar from the community, and I understand. I think the greatest mistake on my part was not explaining all this to the public prior to doing eliminating the Lord's Prayer that one evening. So we're going to, we've already sent out a press release to that effect so the public understands what is behind it and what we're up against right now.
Council President Cannon says they are considering multiple alternatives to the Lord's Prayer for future opening proceedings at the meetings. One of those options being a moment of silence for personal prayer.
Good Thursday morning, Delmarva. We are beginning to see those winds pick up now as that colder air continues to filter into the area. We're at 44 right now in Ocean View, but those temperatures are going to be falling into the 30s through the morning and afternoon. We're going to see plenty of sunshine from Ocean City, Fenwick Island up through Lewis and Rehoboth, but the winds are going to be cranking to 30, 35 miles an hour. So despite 36 this afternoon, it's going to feel more like 26 with that added wind. As we make our way into Cambridge, we're 38 through 7. And then look at that, 35 by around noon. So a cold, blustery day on Delmarva through Cambridge and Crisfield this afternoon. Annie Key of Georgetown, Delaware, congratulations there on winning an umbrella from CoastTV. We will talk about even bitter wind chills tomorrow morning and then the threat of some light snow into the weekend.
Thanks, Chris. After the break on CoastTV News Today, territory turmoil, the debate over who should control Greenland.
Also, Ocean City honors Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. What is scheduled for Dreamfest 2026?
Plus, money for Milton business, where a new grant is coming from and which companies qualify. CoastTV News Today returns after the break.
Now on Coast TV News.
It's back to reality today, Delmarva. Despite sunny skies, it's going to feel like the 20s most of the day. Gets even colder into Friday morning and tracking some potential snow over the weekend.
Supporting small business, the new grant program in Milton and how it is connected to a nearby development.
Maryland members, where Maryland's General Assembly is targeting its priorities after the swearing in of delegates and senators.
Arts Amplify Action, how Ocean City is celebrating the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. starting today.
This is Coast TV News Today.
January 15th, 2026. Good morning, everybody. I'm Matt Pensick. Good morning, Grace.
Good morning, Matt. I'm Grace Eckerly. Thank you for being up with us. And there's a little anxiety in the air in our station. We like to keep things real with our viewers, right?
I know. 6:29 a.m. There's that line from the Jimmy Buffett song, Boat Drinks. 20 degrees and the hockey game is on. Chris is a big hockey fan. We've established that. He's a big sports fan all around. His Flyers lost last night, and they play again tonight, Grace.
And I have to admit something. I think Chris is a little scared of penguins. I think he's got a little fear. What? Chris, what is that? It's a penguin, Chris. Are you nervous?
It's all Grace, Chris.
Hey, my boys are riding a 4-game losing streak. They better snap out of it tonight in Pittsburgh. They got the big nationally televised game. We have a few light sprinkles pushing over the peninsula. Those are now pushing off the coast, but really the cold air is marching towards us as this cold front pushes through the area. Look at the temperatures. We're at 39 Cambridge, 41 Georgetown, but we're at 15 in Wheeling. So that is that colder air that's going to be making a beeline towards the eastern seaboard through the day today. We're at 39 in Cambridge, but the winds are beginning to pick up over the last hour. We're at 41 in Georgetown, 40 in Bridgeville, but look at the wind gusts. We're gusting to 23 Georgetown, 29 in Salisbury. So now we're seeing wind chills. Feels like 28 Harrington. Feels like the freezing mark in Seaford, and it feels like the 30s across most of Sussex County, despite those air temperatures in the 40s. Now, the blustery conditions are going to be with us for most of the day, even into tonight through early part of tomorrow. We're going to stay sunny and we're going to stay dry, but very cold. Feeling like the 20s today, feeling like the single digits by tomorrow morning, and then we'll begin to moderate at least for the start of the weekend. So there's those mostly sunny skies through the afternoon today. Temperatures are going to fall into the upper 30s through the morning, and then hold steady through most of the day today with those added wind gusts to near 35 miles an hour. So bundle up this afternoon. We talk even about some even more colder air down the road. We'll have more on that here in a little bit.
Thank you, Chris. New this morning, small businesses in downtown Milton could soon get a financial boost.
Coast TV's Elisa Weber is in our newsroom. Development's actually funding the grants in a partnership with Milton Main Street. Good morning, Elisa.
Good morning, Matt and Grace. Yes, grants up to $2,000 are available to small businesses in Milton, and Milton Main Street says that this grant is actually being funded by the granary at Draper Farm. That is a development currently under construction. It's a mixed-use development in Milton, and the grant will fund equipment, furnishings, storefront improvements, or marketing plans. Eligible businesses include those located within the town limits on Route 16, as well as on Mulberry Street, Union Street, Federal Street, Chestnut Street, and Lavinia Street. Franchises may apply, but they must operate no more than 2 locations. We spoke with a Milton local who says seeing a development invest into the community is a step in the right direction.
And I think it's a great idea if they help us improve what we have and enlarge it so that everyone can have an adequate representation in the town.
There's up to $10,000 in grants available to those businesses, and the deadline to apply is February 15th. Back to you.
Thank you, Elisa. Lawmakers in Maryland went back to work on Wednesday for the start of the 2026 legislative session. According to some state senators and delegates from the Eastern Shore, one main focus is lowering the state's budget deficit that sits around $1.5 billion. Another priority is lowering energy costs. Maryland's legislative session wraps up on April 13th.
Wednesday was also the start of the legislative session in Virginia, and this comes days before Abigail Spanberger is sworn in as the next governor. State lawmakers are considering 4 constitutional amendments that focus on abortion rights, same-sex marriage, voting rights, and mid-cycle redistricting. According to Governor-elect Spanberger, one goal is to improve affordability, and she takes office on Saturday.
Happening today, the MLK Weekend Dream Fest kicks off in Ocean City. The event brings families together for 3 days of music, arts, and entertainment to honor Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s legacy. The first day starts with a performance from the Pointer Sisters at the Ocean City Performing Arts Center at 7 p.m. and Dream Fest 2026 runs through January 17th in Ocean City.
Starting today, DelDOT will begin a painting project on the Front Street Bridge in Seaford. We're showing you the area where this is taking place right now on your screen. DelDOT says work continues through early April, and during this time, Front Street will be closed to drivers. However, pedestrian access across the bridge remains open, and bridge openings for boats, that's only happening overnight between 9 p.m. and 5 a.m.
Delmarva Power launching a customer relief fund expansion after receiving $500,000 from its parent company, Exelon. The company says its funding supports customers in Delaware and Maryland, and customers with electric and gas are eligible for $500. This comes after Delmarva Power says it's looking at raising its electric base rates for Delaware.
Last night, the Department of Homeland Security says a federal officer in Minneapolis shot and wounded a man who, quote, violently assaulted the officer.
The shooting comes 1 week to the day since the deadly ICE shooting of driver Renee Good. Reed Binion now showing us protests taking place and reactions from state officials.
I urge anyone that is at the scene to leave immediately.
Minneapolis Police Chief Brian O'Hara urging protesters to go home Wednesday night amid clashes with law enforcement after a federal officer shot a man in the leg. The Department of Homeland Security said the subject, a Venezuelan man who is in the country illegally, fled in his vehicle during a, quote, targeted traffic stop, then crashed into a parked car and fled on foot. When the officer caught up to him, he allegedly resisted arrest. DHS said 2 other individuals attacked the officer with a snow shovel and a broom handle.
During the struggle, the federal agent discharged his weapon, striking 1 adult male.
Tensions rose as protesters gathered at the scene with a crowd following agents through the neighborhood. Agents launched pepper balls and what sounded like flashbangs. Smoke hung in the air as officers deployed tear gas canisters, with a member of the crowd apparently throwing one of the canisters back at agents. While still demanding ICE leave the city, officials, including the mayor, are asking the public to remain peaceful.
We cannot counter Donald Trump's chaos with our own brand of chaos. For those that have peacefully protested, I applaud you. For those that are taking the bait, you are not helping.
I'm Reed Binion reporting.
We are now taking a live look at Washington, D.C. this morning. Not for sale. Well, that's the message from Danish and Greenland officials to President Trump about the Arctic territory, Greenland. They met with administration officials Wednesday at the White House and said they have a different opinion from the president about who should control Greenland, but they're open to expanding U.S. military footprint. Vice President J.D. Vance and Secretary of State Marco Rubio say President Trump would prefer to buy the massive island territory, a proposition that could cost as much as $700 billion, according to 3 people who are familiar with the estimate.
How important it is from our side to strengthen our cooperation with the United States, but that doesn't mean that we want to be owned by the United States.
Denmark's Minister of Foreign Affairs says the U.S. appears to remain intent on taking control of Greenland, but hopes that they can reach a compromise that respects territorial integrity of the NATO ally.
And we have a lot more news to get to in this final half hour. Don't go anywhere.
Coming up, prices for precious metals, how an increase could impact you.
Also, Eagles coaching staff changes. The Birds fired one of their top assistant coaches, but a Philly legend thinks there's more blame to go around.
And pony passes away. What Chincoteague Fire Company says are the next steps to lay the animal to rest. Stay with us on CoastTV News Today.
Good Thursday morning, Delmarva. We have a cold front pushing through the region this morning as temperatures are going to continue to fall throughout the morning. We had a few light sprinkles just a short time ago, still holding in the 40s at the coast, but you can see we're now in the mid to upper 30s across the mid-shore, 36 Easton to 38 in Cambridge. We're now down to 39 in Georgetown, and the winds are picking up as well, gusting to 24 Salisbury, 26 in Smith Island, and those winds are going to continue to pick up throughout the morning and into the afternoon. So we fall from the upper 30s into the mid 30s this afternoon. Plenty of sunshine, but those winds are going to make it feel even colder in the mid to upper 20s throughout the morning and into the afternoon. You get your latest forecast by calling our First Alert Weather phone, sponsored by Broxton, Mondalis, and Federico. Coming up, we will talk about even bitterly cold air down the road and a few light snow chances into the weekend.
Thank you, Chris. Now to some terribly sad news. Chincoteague mourning the loss of one of its ponies. The volunteer fire company says this pony, named Goldie, died after she got stuck in a burrow ditch. The fire company says Goldie became trapped in deep mud sometime between Tuesday night and Wednesday morning. The Saltwater Cowboys say they are now working to remove Goldie from the ditch and find her a better final resting place.
New this morning, Delaware State Police are warning people in Sussex County about a rise in car thefts. State Police say several cars, mostly Kia and Hyundai models, were stolen or targeted from residential driveways over the past week. Police say some cars were unlocked, but others were locked and taken without the keys. Delaware State Police are reminding drivers to never leave cars unlocked and to report suspicious activity.
Delmarva Sports Network from the Wawa Studios.
In the NFL, it was a tough year for Kevin Patullo. The Eagles' offensive coordinator was fired after 1 year on the job. We saw that coming. I mean, his house was egged last month. But was it fair to essentially scapegoat the coach for Philly's wild card exit to San Francisco? I get it. That's a controversial thing to say right now. But I know. I mean, let's look at it from, the glass half empty perspective. The Eagles averaged 29 points per game last year, tied for 4th in the league. And he was not the offensive coordinator. That was Kellen Moore, who left for the Saints head coaching job. This year, they averaged 22 points per game, which is a touchdown less per game. And that's middle of the pack in the league. That's 19th. They only scored 19 points against the 49ers. But how about the glass half empty perspective? Maybe it's not all on Patullo. At least that's what Eagles legend Jason Kelce thinks.
And I know that everybody is out on Kevin Patullo. I happen to know the guy. I love Kevin Patullo. I know he's a great coach. I know it wasn't the best performance this year offensively. They had the #1 highest paid offense in the league and were mediocre across the board. That's unacceptable. They had their chances to win that game yesterday, and the players didn't make the plays. All right? That's all I'm going to leave it at.
A couple of those A.J. Brown drops late. Yeah, definitely some plays that were left out there on the field. And all season, Saquon Barkley couldn't run the ball. Who's the offensive coordinator? I'll figure that out. I wish him luck. Have a good day, Delmarva.
And coming up tonight on DSN at 6, it is live NCAA women's basketball when Maryland Eastern Shore takes on Coppin State. Then you can catch the final score at 10:30. And you can watch the Lady Hawks in action also on DSN Plus, along with these exclusives. At 4 p.m., Queen Anne's visits Kent Island in girls hoops. William Penn faces Del Castle. Then we have a couple boys basketball games for you. 5:30 p.m., Y-High hosting Bennett. 5:45, Sussex Academy travels to Del Mar.
If you're having a rough week, cheer up with a weekly dose of local good news from CoastTV with personal features, fun things to do each weekend, and more. You can sign up now for free at coasttv.com/sign-up to get your weekly dose of joy directly to your inbox on Friday. And here's what you can look forward to this afternoon on Coast Life at 4 p.m.
Hope you're having a fantastic Thursday here along coastal Delmarva. And if you join us today at 4 o'clock on Coast Life, here's what's coming at you. We've got another spill the tea, a little bit of drama while we sip a warm, nice drink. We're talking FaceTime phone calls. When does it get to be too much? When is it okay to not pick up? We will get into all of that. Also this weekend, Martin Luther King Day weekend. If you're looking for some incredible ways to celebrate his mission and ways to give back to the community, we're going to be talking about Dreamfest. All of that and so much more is coming your way today at 4 on Coast Life. We'll see you then.
Well, we have some cold air building back into the region. Starting this morning, temperatures are going to be falling into the 30s, kind of a reverse day, if you will, but the wind chills are going to make it feel like the 20s, and it gets even colder in the days ahead. And we'll talk about some snow chances over the weekend after the break.
The time is now 6:46 a.m. Chris, we were kind of prepared for a fun sunrise reveal of the day. We had a beautiful one yesterday. You know what? I'm a little disappointed in the sunrise, but I'm excited for a nice chilly day.
Yeah, the sun will be out. That's just the clouds from the cold front. And it's some little sprinkles push over the region this morning, and those are now pushing offshore. Skies are clearing back off to the west, but so is the cold air. That's pushing in from the west as well. You can see the cold front extending right over the peninsula, and there's plenty of cold air back off to the west. You can see we are well in the teens. We're not going to see the temperatures drop that low today, but we're going to be tapping into this cold air mass as it migrates to the east. So you can see the high clouds pushing into Cambridge, 38 right now, and the winds are beginning to pick up and the temperatures are beginning to fall. If you're with us at the 5 a.m. hour, remember temperatures were in the mid to upper 40s, and now we're down to 41 in Long Neck, 38 in Harrington. Now the winds are picking up as well. We're gusting to 29 Indian River Inlet, 29 in Salisbury, 23 in Georgetown. So it feels like 28 in Harrington. It feels like 33 Millsboro, and it feels like 34 in Rehoboth Beach. We have gale warnings that continue at least through Friday morning for the entire Delmarva coast from Lewis down to Chincoteague, as well as through the Chesapeake Bay. Well, we're saying so long to the 50-degree temperatures like we had over the last 2 days, feeling like the 20s through the afternoon. And by this time tomorrow morning, we're going to likely have wind chills in the single digits across the peninsula, and then we are watching a threat of some light snow by the end of the weekend. So temperatures holding relatively steady here through the latter part of the morning into the afternoon. We fall to 28 by around 7, feeling like 19, but we stay clear, mostly sunny skies through the afternoon, starry skies into the overnight, and we stay pretty dry and sunny into the day on Friday with highs in the mid-30s. The winds, as I mentioned, are going to be picking up here throughout the morning and into the afternoon, gusting to 35 miles an hour. And we stay quite blustery into tomorrow morning, and that unfortunately is going to create those bitter wind chills. It's going to feel like 17 by this evening in Long Neck and through most of the beaches. 11 in Long Neck tomorrow morning, 10 in Milton. As we go into the weekend, we stay pretty dry into the start, but we're watching an area of some moisture late in the morning on Saturday and through the early afternoon. Could bring some light snow showers northern Delmarva, but primarily just some light sprinkles, some light showers. Then we focus our attention on a system Sunday. Could bring some light snow to the peninsula, especially the further south you go. There's going to be an area of low pressure that develops to the south of the Carolinas. How far north does the system get remains to be seen, and how strong it is will determine how much snow we get, but we could be dealing with a light period of snow as we go into Sunday evening. Then it turns even colder into early next week. We're at 36 this afternoon, feeling like the 20s, a very cold night. Clear skies 21, feeling like 8 to 17, and then a nice sunny, dry end to the week, but a cold one at that 37 degrees. We're up to 46 into Saturday with that late morning, early afternoon shower chance, and then watching for that period of light snow into Sunday evening. We dry out, stay cold for Martin Luther King Day, 35, and then we struggle to get out of the 20s as we go into Tuesday of next week. Matt.
Thank you, Chris. A network outage affected some Verizon wireless customers on Wednesday. Verizon acknowledged the issue in a social media post saying some of its wireless services were down and many customers were without access to voice and data services. Verizon said its engineers were working to find and solve the service interruption quickly, and that service has since been restored.
The United States has officially started selling Venezuelan oil. A Trump administration official said Wednesday that U.S. completed the first sale of Venezuelan oil valued at $500 million. Additional sales of oil are expected in the coming days and weeks. This comes in the wake of the U.S.'s operation to capture Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro earlier this month.
Price of gold has surged 22% this year alone. Silver gained 6% Tuesday and is up 29% for the year. And other metals like copper, aluminum, lithium, and zinc, they're getting pricier as well. And that could impact prices of consumer goods since they are used in many different products.
And the time is 6:51 a.m. Time to check in with our coastal pet of the day. It may look like there are multiple. It is just one.
Just one. Today's coastal pet of the day is a dog so loved by his family that, Grace, they made a stuffed animal that looks just like him. On your screen is Bentley. Bentley, I think we can tell, is the one in the middle. Bentley's a 5-year-old Bernese Mountain Dog, and Bentley was submitted to us by Chris in Millsboro.
Well, Bentley's got some nice company on the couch there. Matt, I would say you should get your cats some stuffed animals, but you got 5 of them, so adding 5 stuffed animals.
Grace, I have a story.
10 cats.
I have a story to tell you about a cat pillow that my son got. us for Christmas that looks like one of our cats. He sent a picture somewhere and they made a pillow.
Well, then maybe that'll be our next coastal pet of the day, right?
Could be.
Well, your sons can send us a photo, or you can at home send us pictures of your pets on Delmarva. Tell us what makes them so special if you want to take a look at your screen now.
That is where the QR code top center. Scan it, get your friends to us, then watch weekdays 5 to 7 a.m. to see all the pets we feature.
And the time is now 6:54 a.m. It's time for things you need to know before you go. Lawmakers in Maryland went back to work on Wednesday for the start of the 2026 legislative session. According to some state senators and representatives from the Eastern Shore, one main focus is lowering the state's budget deficit. That deficit sits around $1.5 billion. And another priority is lowering energy costs. Maryland's legislative session will wrap up on April 13th.
Wednesday was also the start of the legislative session in Virginia. It comes days before Abigail Spanberger is sworn in as the next governor. State officials are considering 4 constitutional amendments that focus on abortion rights, same-sex marriage, voting rights, and mid-cycle redistricting. According to Governor-elect Spanberger, one goal is to improve affordability, and she takes office on Saturday.
Starting today, DelDOT will begin a painting project on the Front Street Bridge in Seaford. You can see the area on your screen now. The agency says that work will continue through early April, and during this time, Front Street will be closed to drivers. However, pedestrian access across the bridge will remain open, and bridge openings for boats will only happen overnight. That'll be between 9 p.m. and 5 a.m.
Happening today, the MLK Weekend Dreamfest kicks off in Ocean City. The event brings families together for 3 days of music, arts, and entertainment to honor Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s legacy. And that first day starts with a performance from the Pointer Sisters at the Ocean City Performing Arts Center. Dreamfest 2026 runs through January 17th in Ocean City. And we have one final check with First Alert meteorologist Chris Mastrobono. Wind chill. That's in play for later today. What? Oh, yes.
You're going to need this, Matt Pensick.
Oh,
He's
me.
going to need a little product for his hair. He just got his new do.
It says extra hold. So,
There you
yes. Yes, there we go, Chris. You and I, we'll share this.
Definitely going to need that with the wind gusts to 35 miles an hour. No more 50-degree temperatures like we had the past 2 days. Unfortunately, we're seeing the mildest temperatures now falling into the upper 30s through the morning, then holding steady here through most of the day. Plenty of sunshine, but plenty of cold as well. It's going to feel more like the 20s throughout the afternoon today. And then by this time tomorrow, we're going to have wind chills, well, in the single digits. We're going to have plenty of sunshine through tomorrow afternoon as well. Watching for a period of light snow, a late Sunday afternoon through the evening, and then we see another blast of cold air into early next week.
Thank you, Chris, and thank you for joining us for Coast TV News today.
The Today Show is coming up next at 7 a.m.
Then we'll be back for Coast TV News midday. It's at 11 a.m.
And for even more news and coverage you can count on, you can track those cold temperatures hour by hour with the Coast TV weather app. Get that. Until then, have a great Thursday morning, everybody.